How's it going, guys?
What's up?
All right, Local John 1812,
J-Rod 84.
and welcome to our sports update. It's been a while. We're going to try a different approach to this sports update. We're going to kind of do the show in like two different segments, and first segment would be talking about fantasy football in our league.
Yeah.
YTBA, you're the best around. Fantasy Football League is in their playoffs right now, like most people are. And who's our playoff teams?
We got Team Beasley, Vinegar Strokes, Enormous Ditka, and Team Henning.
And I think Enormous Ditka and Team Henning are playing each other.
Yeah.
At last look, it was
50. It was 51-16 Team Henning.
And there's still a lot of people being left to play.
Yeah.
I think for Enormous Ditka, he hasn't had a lot of his players play yet, so that's why he was. And then Vinegar Strokes and
Team
Beasley.
Beasley was up at last check 66-61.
And I think in this situation, I think Beasley's already had a lot of his people play, and it looks like Vinegar Strokes is getting some players, so to get ready to finally start playing. So everybody's kind of in fantasy football playoff mode right now. Most of your people around the country are probably playing fantasy football playoffs starting, today.
Mm-hmm. I said, depending on how your league is, depending on how you run your league or whatever.
How it's set up. Also, too, this year in fantasy football, we noticed that, my team didn't make the playoffs.
Mine didn't either, so.
I noticed my team is full of, I have, Jordy Nelson, and I had Travis Kelce and A.J. Green, and I noticed that you would say, well, with a team like that, with those type of names, you should have made the postseason. But, Jordy Nelson was affected by Aaron Rodgers' injury. A.J. Green just hasn't performed. So a lot of stuff is, some of the people haven't performed, but a lot of it's been injuries too.
Mm-hmm. I just say a lot of the NFL's, big names, have been marred with injuries this year.
Yeah, even necessarily if they're not injured, then maybe the person with Jordy, his quarterback got injured, which affected his fantasy value down the stretch. So, that's our first segment there for fantasy football. Kind of, dull, but we had to get to the point real quick. But that we want to do that for our league too, and so. Well, we'll be right back, guys, with our second segment of the show where we'll talk about all kinds of other sports and other things that we want to talk about. And so we'll be right back after this. All right, guys, we're back after that short break.
Yeah, very short, but
very short.
We're back.
We're back. And guys, now let's talk about some stuff that's been going on today. The committee said for the college football playoffs.
Yes,
what they say?
College football playoff pairings have been announced. All right, first up, you got the first one semifinal. You got the Rose Bowl. You got the Big 12 champ Oklahoma take on the SEC champ Georgia in one semifinal. The second semifinal, will be a rematch of the last two college football playoff championship games. The ACC champ Clemson, and of course the college football playoff regular in Alabama. Now, I know a lot of you are probably surprised, myself included, that the committee picked Alabama. A lot of people are probably surprised that they picked Alabama over Ohio State to get into the playoff. But I did happen to figure this. Probably what did Ohio State in was that bad loss they suffered at Iowa. Because Ohio State lost. They gave up 55 points to Iowa and they lost.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And with two losses, at first I was kind of wondering, would they honor a one-loss team that didn't win their conference or their division, or would they honor a two-loss team, that won their conference championship?
Right.
And I'm thinking, okay, we're kind of leaning towards the team that won the conference title, but I guess it depends. It all depends. Strength of schedule. Who you've played. How your opponent's been doing throughout the whole season or whatever. Also,
too, there's a couple of factors here. They said since the college football playoffs, no team outside 5 has ever been bumped into the playoffs. So Ohio State was sitting at 8.
Yeah.
So even if they won, history says they weren't going to get in to number 4. The committee put Alabama at number 5, hoping 2 teams or possibly 1 team or so, or 2 teams really, would mess up. So it would give them a reason to put Alabama back in. A lot of people say, no, there's no committee doesn't have any bias situation here. Yes, they do. I mean, honestly, Ohio State has some good fan base. And they do,
Well,
and they could draw some ratings. But think about the rematch: Clemson versus Alabama, or Clemson versus Ohio State, and it made more sense for an Alabama Clemson rematch.
Well, see, because Clemson played Ohio State in the playoff last year, I believe.
Yeah, then they was it close or was it?
I just know Clemson shut him out. It was 31-0. I just say, but probably what my thing is, they probably weren't going. At first, I didn't think they were going to go with Alabama. I mean, because Alabama had been number one for the majority of the season up until they lost to Auburn, and then they dropped.
Yeah.
I would say, of course, Ohio State, they had 2 losses. They had a loss earlier this season to Oklahoma, who's in the playoff, and it was also their loss that loss.
So the bad loss could have done them in, but I don't even think it's that either, though. I don't even think it's the bad loss. I just think it's just the simple fact that where they were was 8. A win over who they got the win over, who was a 4th place playoff team, moves them 2 or 3 spots because the game was close. The game Wisconsin made that a game.
Yeah, I understand. With 27-21 Ohio State. Now,
yeah.
Probably. Well, I don't know. They may have. They may have snuck Ohio State in if Ohio State had just blown them out the water.
Exactly.
They might. They might have moved them up.
Right. But they didn't get that because of the situation with the
they might have
close game.
And like I said, it's probably because of all of who they played, during the regular season. I mean, because I think about Ohio State didn't play too many ranked teams. Well, they played a couple of ranked teams in the Big Ten, which they were Penn State and Michigan State. They won both of those. Alabama, I think it played 3, if I'm right. I think it was Texas A&M, Mississippi State, and LSU, and they won all 3 of those.
So, that's what's going on. Who do you think wins? I think I'll take Alabama and Georgia in the championship game, and I'll take Alabama to win by 10 to 17 points over Georgia.
That's a tough one. That's a tough one. Georgia, Oklahoma. I don't know. I don't know. I'm kind of undecided on the winner. I mean, because on one side, Georgia, Oklahoma. Because Oklahoma ain't seen no defense like Georgia's, and Georgia ain't seen an offense like Oklahoma's yet. That could go either way.
Right.
As for Alabama, Clemson, it could probably go the same way.
Alabama want that revenge, and
well, let's see. Well, I don't know if it's so much about revenge, but I mean, and then probably Alabama. The defensive line, has been banged up a little bit, but regardless. Alabama, they found a way to get in, and they're back. They're back in the playoff. Clemson's back in the playoffs. So there you have it. Round 3. Clemson, Alabama. This time, to play for the national championship. That's turning into a pretty entertaining rivalry right now in college football.
Yep. And Alabama's, even though they practiced this week, they kind of had a couple days off, which is helping get some of their players. They've got a little bit extra rest. They didn't have to play this weekend. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that kind of helped them get some people that might be banged up back to that. Mm-hmm. So back to strength.
Yeah. And also, I believe the rest of the New Year's Six bowls were announced. Along with those, I'm trying to remember. I believe the Cotton Bowl has Ohio State and USC. Which, that should be interesting. Ohio State, USC. You got the Cotton. Let me see. The Fiesta Bowl. That's Penn State and Washington. The Peach Bowl has Auburn and Central Florida, which is still undefeated.
Lane Kiffin, he got himself Atlantic. Is it Atlantic? It's
Florida Atlantic.
Florida Atlantic.
I don't know where they're playing yet. I'm just saying I don't know.
They won their little conference title.
They won the Conference USA.
Yeah.
And it's another bowl game. I'm leaving. Okay, Cotton Fiesta.
You said
Peach.
Rose Bowl, didn't you?
Yeah, Rose is one of the. I believe it is the. Oh God. Well, there's 2 others I know. The Citrus Bowl. That's Notre Dame, LSU. The Outback Bowl. And those are no New Year's Day. That's South Carolina, Michigan. And also speaking of that, I'm just saying because we're both Kentucky fans. Kentucky's getting into a bowl for the second year in a row.
Oh, guess where it's at?
And probably not to the surprise of most Kentucky fans, they were sent to Nashville for the Music City Bowl.
Against Northwestern?
Yeah. Yep, they were playing Northwestern on the 29th.
Well, we better beat them. I think we should. It's kind of a layup game.
Well,
can be if we play to our best ability, but I guess Northwestern, they play in the Big Ten, right?
yeah.
Yeah, they have a tough conference as well. Big Ten usually has some good teams, obviously. So does the SEC. SEC was kind of really topsy-turvy this year, kind of up down. They don't but still the SEC has 2 teams in the college football playoffs.
Yeah, they got two teams in the college and 10 teams overall in bowl games.
And Big Ten has nobody in the college football playoff. And
but they still got a lot of bowl teams.
They got a lot of bowl teams. But when a conference has 2 teams that represent the college football playoff and they have a chance to represent the national championship game together, that makes the SEC top.
It's probably changed. It's probably changed the perception of the SEC because because probably before the season they probably think the SEC had lost its luster as being the top football conference in the country.
I think they said what?
Which now they're probably saying okay, maybe the SEC gotten back a little bit because because for the majority of the season they figured Alabama and Georgia were the 2 best in the league. That wasn't until Auburn suddenly surged and got a chance to win the conference but didn't.
So
honestly, but nevertheless, it should be a pretty entertaining bowl season.
Let's move to the NFL. What week are we on?
This is week 13.
Week 13,
yep.
and
week 13. The
Kansas City loses again. Finds a way to lose to the Jets. Great.
Well,
they got to get their stuff together.
Yeah, and honestly, since it's week 13, almost time everybody thinking about the playoffs.
Playoffs.
We talk about playoffs, which right about not too far away.
Right.
As of right now, the division leaders, in both conferences, AFC East, of course, is New England, who did beat Buffalo today. AFC North, Pittsburgh. AFC South, that was Jacksonville and Tennessee are both tied, at 8-4. And in the AFC West, Kansas City is still in the lead in the AFC West.
6-6.
Despite their recent slide. I think the wild card spots right now are Jacksonville and Baltimore.
Right.
That's in the AFC. Okay, the NFC, you got the NFC East. You got the Eagles, best record in the league right now, 10-1. NFC North, you got Minnesota. NFC South, Carolina and New Orleans, who are currently playing right now. At last check, it was tied at 7. And out west, you got the LA Rams, and the team was suddenly emerging as the leader out there. Wild card spots, as of right now in the NFC, they go to Carolina and Atlanta. I say, but you still got a bunch of teams, in the NFC that's still in contention. I think like Seattle, Detroit. If I'm right, I think
Green Bay won today, so I think that kind of puts them in somewhere.
Yeah, Green Bay, and Arizona, and Detroit, I believe.
So Green Bay's right there. They won. You never know. I don't know what's going to ever happen with Aaron Rodgers. Maybe come back week 16 or something.
I said, well, he's not scheduled. He's not scheduled to come back until week 15.
15. So you never know if they keep winning a few games here and there and keeps them within playoff contention. Mm-hmm. You could see him get back on the field.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah, I just say who knows. I just say the same. In the AFC, you got a few teams. That's still in the hunt for the playoffs. I think Buffalo, Oakland, the Chargers, and I'm trying to remember. I think Cincinnati was on the list.
Tennessee. Were they the division leader or on?
Tennessee and Jacksonville, they're tied in the AFC South, tied for the AFC South lead right now.
So both of them would be wild card contention and or division winners.
Yeah, they're giving the edge to Tennessee as of right now because Tennessee won the first head-to-head match with Jacksonville.
Right. That's right. That's kind of what's going on in the National Football League. Plenty of weeks left. What about 4?
Yeah.
4 weeks left till the season's over, so that's going to end up, washing itself out eventually. What will happen In Major League Baseball, the Yankees, did they make it official? Did they get Aaron Boone?
Yes.
They made it official.
He's the new manager.
Aaron Boone. Everybody remembers, wasn't it a Game 7 game against the Boston Red Sox where he hits the extra innings home run and wins the game for the Yankees? And that was a big moment for him. And now it's going to be a big moment for him to get the job, which he did with the Yankees. So that'll be a good situation for that. There's been some other stuff going on in baseball. I think everybody's meeting for the winter meetings and all that kind of stuff. So there's been rumors of free agents, especially there's a guy I think somewhere in Japan or something like that. They call him the Japanese version of Babe Ruth, and this guy can do everything. He can pitch, he can play in the outfield, he can play in the infield, he can come up in DH and hit home runs, and I can't remember the name, and I wouldn't pronounce it right anyways. But I'm pretty sure if you just type in Japanese Babe Ruth or Japanese star, you'll find him. He's been rumored to possibly go to like the Red Sox or the Yankees or some big market's got some money to pay for him because he's going to cost a little bit of money. But the guy's only like 23 to 25 years old, so he's still young. So some exciting stuff going on in baseball. It's about all that I know about baseball right now. I can't tell you for life of me. I can't tell you anything about NASCAR. It's already done and over with, and I can't remember who won.
I couldn't either.
Was it Martin Truex Jr.?
No, you know what? I'm not sure.
I don't know. Someone won NASCAR.
Because I didn't see much NASCAR.
I'm sorry. We should have looked it up. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I said. Also, college basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Now the season's underway. Now the season's about 3 weeks old. Yes. Now just so you know, we're both Kentucky fans.
That's right.
I said the Cats defeated Harvard yesterday, 79-70. Now just so you know, and all the other.
They were up by 20, and they allowed them to come back, making some threes, not closing out on shooters, getting lazy on defense late.
Well, I just say, the team is very young.
Yeah.
I say the young but talented. They're starting to gel offensively.
He's starting 5 freshman people.
Yeah, I said defense is getting a little bit better, but they still got a lot of stuff to work. They still got some things to work on. Defensively, taking care of the ball, stuff like that.
Where did the Fab Five? Didn't they go all the way into the Final Four first year?
They went to the national title game.
Okay, they went to the national title
92 and 93 and lost both times.
Okay. I firmly believe John Calipari wants to put a new Fab Five together. So I'm assuming, but see, Vanderbilt
version.
Yeah, when Vanderbilt gets back, that's the finished product that everybody's looking for. Baker would be a good addition, but to make it a finished product, you have to have Vanderbilt on that team and out there in the lineup. And Vanderbilt's going to take someone's starting position, and I can't figure out if he continues to run. Because right now it's Diallo, Richards, Knox, Washington, and is it Quad Green?
Yeah.
Okay. I believe he'll keep Quad A Green out there. And he'll take Washington out. And he's going to put Vanderbilt in. Because Washington, no offense to P.J. Washington, he hasn't shown anything all year.
Let's see what's... Well, he's... Honestly, he's struggled, just a little bit. But.
He can still play. No, what he's doing though, but what P.J. Washington is given is not starter numbers. What he's giving you is a good, solid, off the bench 6-man numbers. Okay, he's better. He'd be a great option besides Wenyon Gabriel and Sasha Clay-Jones off the bench. Sasha Clay-Jones has been playing a lot better, but I just honestly think Vanderbilt. What is Vanderbilt? 6'9"?
I think so.
6'9", like 214, 215. That's what I think I seen his listing his weight. I'm telling you, he's a young man.
But you also have to think about, these guys, this is their first, this is all new to them. We can't expect them. We necessarily can't expect them, to just come in, just immediately, just become an instant star right away.
They're 5 points away from being undefeated. They lost by 4 to Kansas. They're 5 points away from being undefeated. And I think if Jarrett Vanderbilt plays in that game, we are winning that game against Kansas.
Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
We win that game by probably 5 or 6 points.
Yeah, probably.
So,
yeah, I mean, you know, that's honestly, you know, they're young. I say, but they are improving. They'll be an entirely different team, you know, come March.
who we got next? Monmouth?
Yeah, it's Monmouth this Saturday in New York City. Yeah, and honestly, you know, and you know, and that may be the case, and that's, you know, I think, you know, that's the case, you know, for a lot of college basketball teams, not just Kentucky, but, you know, a lot of other teams around the country. I mean, you know, there's some teams, you know, that might start off slow, and then
Work their way up.
work their way up, and then you have other teams, and it's probably not going to happen this year, but it's probably happened in years past. I mean, you've had teams, you know, that do fantastic, you know, during the regular season and everything, and you figure, okay, this is the team that's going to win. This is the team that's going to win. And by the time the tournament gets around, you know, they get to a certain round, then they crash and burn,
Yep.
and then they don't win.
Yep. Some people peak too early, or where they are now. Some people believe where they're at now, they should get better as the season goes along and in March. But in reality, sometimes, as good as they are now, no matter how much you coach them and no matter what experience you give them, that's as good as they're going to be.
Well,
So some of the teams that we see right now that we think could get better actually will never get better, and they're going to stay the same.
well, I see that.
I don't think it's a fact for Kansas City, but I mean for Kentucky, but I do think that's for some other teams.
You know, well, I guess, you know, it's all about, you know, playing, you know, consistent.
Consistent.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to have, you know, a nice balance. Okay, well, I'll give, probably right now I'd say, honestly, you know, probably Duke. I mean, you know, okay, yes, they got, you know, they got senior, you know, Grayson Allen. I mean, you know, they got, you know, star freshmen, got Marvin Bagley and Gary Trent Jr., you know, and Trayvon Duvall. Yeah, I say Duke's playing well now. You know, let's see, you know, they're undefeated. I mean, you know, they're not going to be undefeated for long. Cause let's face it, ain't nobody going to go undefeated. I mean,
That's
you
true.
know, let's just throw that out the window right now.
Yep.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's almost damn near impossible for any college team, let's say, well, men's college basketball hoops team anyway, to go undefeated. You know, these days.
Florida had Duke almost with an L, and Portland State had Duke down 4 points at halftime.
Well, I mean,
it's just,
yeah.
I mean, if they do, they do. They won't though. That's the.
Well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's not just Duke. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You know, other teams, you know, Kansas, Michigan State, you know, Villanova, you know, etc.
They're all playing. They're playing good right now.
I just, you know, anybody.
Anybody.
I mean, you know, said anybody, anything can happen. I mean, hell, this is just early December, y'all. It's a long season.
Long season to go. I was thinking about. I'm trying to think of a different. No. I didn't have anything else.
I said, well, actually, I did think of something else, and I did post this on Twitter earlier, and I said, I don't know, you might be able to see it. This Saturday, of course, the 26th Heisman Trophy will be presented.
Is Lamar Jackson in the running again? Or
I'm pretty sure he is. They haven't announced the finalists yet, but I'm pretty sure he's one of them. I just, you know, and I just see, well, the poll that I posted, and I said I did have, you know, Lamar Jackson, running backs Bryce Love of Stanford, Saquon Barkley of Penn State, and Baker Mayfield of Oklahoma as my 4 choices.
What about the running back for Georgia?
Oh, you mean Nick Chubb?
Yeah.
Sony Michel?
Nick Chubb. Did he not do enough this year?
Well, I mean,
they got some bad running backs. That's the only reason why they've won a lot of their games.
Well, I mean, you know, I just say they're good.
Yeah.
I just say both of them are good.
So yeah, Heisman Trophy. So that'd be Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday. Okay, and then Kentucky plays Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay, so no game this week. This has been their Coach Cal camp week.
Yeah.
They've been working their butts off. So, well, we're at 22 minutes.
Yeah. I just see, you know, continue watching, NFL afternoon games. And we got,
Oh yeah.
And just, you know,
rest of the night.
Yeah, rest of the night. That's it tonight. NBC Sunday Night Football. You got Philly at Seattle. Should be in.
Philly's been on a winning streak. Maybe Seattle can stop it. We don't know.
Yeah, maybe so. And of course, tomorrow night, Monday Night Football, Pittsburgh and Cincinnati.
The NBA's been still going on, and it's still early in the NBA season. That's why a lot of people may not talk about it as much. But
Now say Cleveland. How to say first Boston won a 15-game winning streak. Now Cleveland's on an 11-game winning streak.
I'll tell you what, my Pistons have actually not been too bad this year. I think they were in the top 5 or so in the East. I think last time I looked, I can't, but they're playing okay.
Yeah.
So,
I have to say the East, and probably to my surprise, Houston's been tearing it up out west.
who was it that was it Houston? No. Oh, but for the Thunder, we're still waiting for this click to happen. What wasn't it?
To me, it's probably taking a little bit longer, for everybody to to develop. I see you got Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Paul George.
You got one basketball.
I see, that's it.
This ain't shoot around.
I mean, I'm saying. I mean, a lot of their games have been close. I just say, but they ain't been able to close out.
That's true. That's true.
I just say, but then again, they're probably waiting for their light switch to come on, and then Russ just goes off, and for 6, 7, 8 straight games, triple doubles. You never know.
So, well, that's what we have for right now. Don't forget to watch the rest of your afternoon games. We'll have this uploaded soon, hopefully before tonight's game of the NFL, so you guys can watch it, get kind of up to date on your stuff. Comment in the comment section below if you don't agree with this, or if you agree with this, or you just want to ask something about something, or if you want to call us idiots, which that wouldn't be very nice, but you can do that if you'd like. But yeah, so don't forget to like,
subscribe,
comment,
share.
And we really appreciate it if you guys do all those things. And we'll be back possibly next weekend at some time to update you guys again.
Yeah, so hopefully it won't be a long gap between videos.
Yeah.
I just say, I just realized we've been doing these shows for about a year now, because we started last year.
Yep.
Via SoundCloud.
Oh. And we went to video, and so thanks for watching, guys. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. I mean, I said, well, hell, even if you guys don't watch, we still gonna do this anyway.
We're still gonna do it. All right, guys. Peace out. See you next weekend.
All right, see you guys. Take care.